In this video, we'll make a simple player that goes up and down, left and right, and then shoots bullet with Bolt visual scripting. Now, Bolt is a way of programming your game without writing any codes. It is really great for beginners, artists, and game designers because you can literally see how your code is running. That will help you find your mistakes and solve it pretty quickly. And it is really fun to use as well. So with that said, I'll try my best to make this video as beginner friendly as possible. So with that said, let's get started. So hey, this is Chrono AB here to make you just a little bit more better in game development. If you like the content in this channel, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button because 90% of the people don't subscribe to the channel. So if you do like the content, consider subscribing. So first of all, let's start by installing Bolt. For that, you need to go to your asset store. And nowadays you don't have it in here because to improve performance in the editor, we don't put it here anymore. So we have to go to our online store. Then in the online store, search for Bolt, B-O-L-T. You'll see something like this and put it in your own asset. After you do that, go to your Windows Package Manager and you will see all of your assets here. You have to go to your packages and it'll be here. First of all, go to My Assets and you'll see all of your assets. Then you'll see Bolt here. Download it. After that, import it. So let me hit import and montage. So after you do that, Bolt has been imported. Now go to your tools. You'll see a new place here called tools and install Bolt. So just import it. It will take some time. So once you have done that, this comes here. Let's hit next. Now there are two naming schemes. Whichever you want, you can put it. One is human naming scheme and another is programmer naming scheme. So whichever feels easier for you. If you're really new, you can start with here. If you have been doing programming, then you can start from here. Whichever you choose, both of them are mostly the same. So I'm going to choose programmer naming. So there will be many things here. Just hit next. You don't need to set up anything here after that. Just generate. So after that, you can hit close. Okay, now let's code our player. So in our player, I will hit add component and I will add a flow machine. Click there. Then you need to create a new macro. So I'm going to click on new macro and I'm going to put it in here. Let's say a new folder called macro. And I'm going to call it player move and shoot, maybe something like that. Once you do that, you can give a title, so player move and shoot again. And in summary, you can say what this code does. So in my case, it will move up and down, left and right, and then shoot bullet. Now after that, let's click on edit graph. Now you can see a flow graph here with a start and update event node. Right, we need to add one last thing here, which is on Windows, Graph Inspector, and I'm going to put it down here. What this does is basically tells you what every node does. So this node is the start node and this only gets called once when you start the game. And this gets called until you close the game. It will keep on getting called every new frame. Let's say in our stat, let's say my game runs at about 1000 frames per second. That means this will be called 1000 times every second. So that is how it works. So we don't need the start function right now. So let's just remove this. And in the update, let's do something. Let's just hit play. And the first thing we want to do is in our player, we want to rotate on the Z axis like this, right? So let's make it happen. Here, I'll just click on this and then click up here. Now, we are going to rotate the player, right? So it should be inside the player. It will show us everything that is in the player. It's the whole game object or the transform or the sprite render. That is all three we have. We have the game object, which is the whole thing, and the transform and the sprite render. So we want to rotate it. So we have to go inside transform. And there are many things. We have to find the rotate function. So it will be called rotate and we can rotate it on the X angle or the Y angle or the Z angle. So I'm going to click on rotate, and now it has started working already, but as you can see, we have not rotated anywhere, so nothing is happening. The moment I write 1 here, as you can see, it just starts spinning, which is awesome. If I increase the value, let's say 10, it spins really quickly. And if I write -1, it goes to the other side. Same for the y-axis as well, but it looks a bit different. Yeah, and if I do 1 on the x as well, I don't know how it looks. Holy, well, that looks kind of cool, right? So we're not going to rotate it, so let me just delete it, but we are going to move it. So to move it, again, do this, but this time I'm not going to go through here because the more faster way is to basically just search it. So I'm going to write translate, T-R-A-N-S-L-A-T-E. It will search for everything and then find the translate. So transform.translate on the X or Y or Z axis. So now if I write 1 here, it will start moving on the left side. But before that, let me just reset the values here. Okay, once I've reset everything, I'll put 1 here and it will start going to the right side. See, if I put a -1 here, it will come back and start going to the left side, as you can see. Let me just make it 0 again. Again here, let me just make it 0 again so that we can see. And if I control the y-axis, meaning put 1 here, it will go up. And if I remove this, put -1 here, it will start coming down eventually. So that is how it works, right? Which is awesome. So now we are going to control this player by using an input. So we have to call an input node here by right-clicking here, add unit, and let's write input. And we are going to use input.getAxis. What it will do is that, let's go to our project settings, and in the input manager you can see many axes, right? And we are going to use the horizontal axis, which has key binding of A and D and left and right key, meaning whenever I press the A key, I will get a -1 value. Whenever I press the D key, I'll get a +1 value. And on the left and right also that same thing happens, right? And because of this, we can control the player. We can make it control the player. On whenever I press the A and D key, we can make it go left and right, right? Similarly, we have another one called vertical that does the same thing, gives us positive whenever I press the up key and negative whenever I press the down key, positive whenever I press the W key, and negative whenever I press the S key. And we can use this to make it go up and down. So let's call both of them. So let me just make a duplicate of this like this. And in the first one, I am going to put, first of all, vertical one. So vertical. By the way, let's go to project settings again. You have to write the exact name you have here. So for horizontal, you have to write it exactly like this. And for vertical, you have to write it exactly like this. The best way to do that is just copy it and then paste it here. Right, let's do that for horizontal as well. Copy it and then paste it here. Now we have both controls here. Let me just put it here. First of all, let's set up the horizontal one. So I will just drag it a little bit further. Now what we will do is we will first of all connect this. Then now we will connect this value, first of all this, so that it flows, right? This is how you connect everything to this, and this runs everything. Whichever is not connected to this does not run. That's why it is grayed out. Now if I just click here, you can see this is the flow, that is the flow, and this is the axis name. According to that, it will find whichever axis we want to use, right? And it gives a result of float, and it takes a result of float, right? So I can just copy this and paste it here. Once I do that, what happens is it is saying 0, right? So whenever I press the up key, it will say 1, as you can see 1, and we go up, right? Slowly, the player just came out, and if I press the down key, it will say -1, and we start going down as well. So that is awesome. We will set this up later, but for now, it is going really fast, isn't it? Let me just make it small. Click here, and it's actually going really fast. We want to slow this down. And the main reason why it is going so fast is because we are using the update function. Because as I said before, The update function runs, let's say if the FPS is 1000, every 1000 times in 1 second, right? Your computer might be slower than mine or even faster than mine, and according to that, it will even move faster or slower. So to fix this problem, what we do is, first of all, let's bring out our own speed value. Let's make our own speed value. You can do it in this variable here. So let's make a speed value. Let's just call it speed, and it will be a float, right? So let me just put it down here, and the speed, let's put it as 25, baby, 25. And we need one more thing called time.delta time. So just write delta time, and you will get a delta time. So get delta time, something that will come out. Click on it. Now this will give a really small value which will change according to our FPS. The more FPS we have, the more smaller value it will give. So we will have same speed no matter what kind of a computer we have. Right now, because of this, my computer might be faster or slower, and you'll get faster and slower result. In your phone, this movement will be even more slower, for example, right? But because of this, the movement will be same in every kind of a computer. So just remember to add time.delta time whenever you're using something like speed, movement speed. So after that, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to multiply these two values and then multiply these two values. So how we'll do that is, we need a right click, add unit, and let's call it multiply. So we need a multiplication node. I'm going to drag this down here and then drag this down here. And after that, we need another multiplication. So I'm just going to click on this and press Control Duplicate. And I'm going to add this multiple, this total value down here. And then I'm going to add this time.delta time here. So now we have these values, right? We have been multiplied it. And we have these values, and we have also multiplied it. So now I can go to the y-axis. And now our speed is about 25. And as you can see, it moves at a really good speed, and because of this, it will move at the same speed, whichever speed I have set up here, in every computer. So now let's do the same for our horizontal as well. So how I can do that is, first of all, I need to connect it. So I'm just going to connect it here, then I'll connect it here, and I'll just free up a little bit space so that we can put some nodes between these two. And again, we need a speed value, right? So let me just click on it, Control Duplicate. Let's just put it here, and we need our time.delta time as well. Control Duplicate, and I'll just put it here. We need two multiplications, so let's just make a Control Duplicate 2 times, and I'm just going to put one here and the other here. So first of all, I'll just multiply this with this, then I'll multiply this with this, and now you can move your player horizontally as well. But I have to first of all connect this. So I'll just connect it on the y-axis. Now, whenever I press the A or D key, it moves left or right. Whenever I press the up or down key, it moves up or down. So I'm just going to try it. Click on here, A and D, just does that. If I press W, it goes up and down. And now we have a fully working player, which moves up and down, left and right, and everything else in between. So this is a normal script that will make your player move up and down and left and right. I'm trying to make a space shooter kind of a game, so let's add a function or a system which will help us spawn bullet, meaning shoot bullet. So first of all, I'm going to show you a little bit of organizing tip you can use. Just click here, drag, and click select everything, then press Control and leave it. This will be a group. Let's say this is a group that helps you move the player. So player movement. Now, after making this player movement system, let's make another system that will help us spawn bullet. So for that, first of all, I need a bullet. So let me go here, and in the sprite section, I have a bullet sprite, which is I have just right clicked and created a sprite here called square and just call it bullet. So I'm just going to drag and drop it here and make it about 0.2 on the x-axis and 0.2 on the y-axis, and change the color to black. Okay, let's see how it looks. And yeah, it looks kind of fine. Now I will make a prefab out of it. So in my prefab folder, I'm just going to drag and drop it. And then in our player, I'm going to add two variables. The first variable is called bullet, and it will be a game object, type of game object. And here I can drag and drop my bullet. Great. After that, I need one more thing called spawn point. Let me show you. Okay, it looks something like this. So just right click here, create an empty game object and call it spawn point. right? And then give it a gizmo and just drag and drop it right on top of your player. So let's make a reference to the spawn point as well. So spawn, spawn, point, and this will be also be a game object, and I'm just going to drag and drop my spawn point here. Now after that, in the flow system, first of all we need another input. So let's just click here and write input, and it will be a get key down. So I just need to go down here, see input dot get key down, click on it. Now we need to put a key binding, meaning what key will actually trigger this. So let's say whenever I press the space key, we will shoot the bullet, right? So I'm just going to put it there, and then we need to know if we have pressed the button or not. And how we can do that is by using a branch, which is inside control and is a branch. So now we need to put the true or false value. So if it is true, it does something. If it is false, it does something like that. So if it is true, then we will instantiate, we will spawn our bullet. That how we write that is by writing instantiate, and not, we don't instantiate an object, we will instantiate a game object. So game object which has an origin, position and rotation. Click on it. So here, if you see here, origin means the game object that we are going to spawn. Position means where do we want to spawn the game object. In our case, we want to spawn it on our spawn point. Wherever the spawn point is, we will spawn a bullet. And for the rotation, however the spawn position is rotated, which is right now 0, 0, 0, we'll just rotate it there, right? That is how we will do that. So let's go to our player. So we want to spawn our bullet. So let me just drag and drop this bullet here, and then drag and drop this value here. So we will now spawn a bullet. Now after that, we need to spawn it on our spawn point. Wherever the spawn point is, we will spawn it there, right? So I just need to drag and drop it here, but we cannot just do this. Although it does work, but this value will not know what to take in. Do you want to take in, let's say, in the position? Do you want to take in the position? Maybe the rotation value, maybe the scale value, maybe we want to know if it is player or not, right? Maybe take that value. We don't know what to take. So we have to tell it specifically what we need to take. For that, we need another node, right click, Unity, and call it position. There will be a get position value in the transform.getPosition. So get transform position, you'll get this value. So click on it and then put it here and then put it in the transform. So now we know the transform.position. We also need the rotation. So right click, unit, right rotation. So we are gonna get the rotation. So transform.rotation, and it's a get. So get transform rotation. Click on it, then drag it here and then drag it here. So now whenever I press the space key, we will spawn a bullet. So let's see if it works or not. So I'm moving around, everything is running, right? Whenever it's running, it is blue and it's running properly. But as you can see, after this point, it does not run. And the reason why is we have to press the space button to make it run. Right now you see it is false. When you click on it, you won't see it being true, but you will see a little bit of glimpse of it being true. You won't see it properly, but you get the point. Whenever I press the space key, we spawn a bullet and it goes blue for a little bit of time and then it does not. So let me do that again. See? So whenever I press the space key, this will be true. Then we will spawn a bullet on our spawn points.position and spawn points.location. And this is the spawn points position and location, by the way. So let's see. Okay, the spawn point, see, position and location always changes whenever I move this. So now I want this bullet to go up, right? Because we are shooting a bullet, not just spawning it. We want to shoot a bullet. So this is done, right? So I am just going to make a group of this. Let me just do this. Press Control and let's say shooting bullet. After that, we need to program our bullet. So we want to make the bullet go upwards. So let me just click on bullet. Then we will add it. It's in prefab, by the way. Then we will add a flow machine here. Then make a new macro, and inside the macro, I'm just going to put it inside the macro. Let's call it bullet function, or let's say move object. Move object. So let's edit graph, and here also you don't need the start function, so remove it. After that, what we need to do is we just need to make it go up at a certain speed. So we need a speed value. Let's just call it speed in the variable. I just put it there, is a float, and the speed will be 25. No, It is a bullet, so yeah, 25 would be fine. Speed is 25. After that, I need to just do this and write translate and bring it here. And because we want to make it go at a same speed in every computer, right, we need another thing called time.delta time. So just write delta time, and we will multiply basically our speed variable. Let me just drag and drop it here. So multiply the speed and with time.delta time and add it here. So let's do that. Multiply time.delta time, speed, and you go to x. Now if I just hit play, what will happen is, let's call it bullet code here, bullet code, and I don't need a summary, forget about it. So let's hit play, let's see if it works or not. So whenever I hit space, and it went on the x-axis because I'm an idiot, so I put it on the x-axis. I should have put it on the y-axis, right? So let me just do this. Let me not have this. So after that, as you can see, it is shooting upwards. And see, this is really great because you can know what mistake you have made instantly. The moment you are just playing, you can know it, and it works perfectly as well, which is awesome. But if you see here, they are not going away. If I spawn a lot of them, this will just clutter up your scene, and because we don't want to clutter up our scene, because that will just make the game go slower, right? Your game will be slower, your performance will be slower, and game will start being laggy. After some amount of time, your game will start being laggy. So let's have a system which will delete these game object after like maybe 3 seconds. How we will do that is by having a system which is, let's just go in here, and in the flow graph, I'll make a function called destroy, and we want to destroy it in a certain amount of time. So destroy object in certain amount of time. Click on it. The time value, let's say, is maybe 2 seconds. So let's make a variable here called destroy time, and it will be a float, and let's say we will destroy it in 2 seconds. So destroy time is 2 seconds. Let me just put it down here, and I'm just going to drag and drop. Oh, my bad. I'm just going to drag and drop it here, and we need a game object to destroy, and we want to destroy our own self, the bullet that gets spawned, right? So we will destroy ourself. So just write self. Self gives us this, so we will destroy our own self, and that is what's going to happen. So basically we will just be moving upwards at a certain speed, right? And after some amount of time, which is 2 seconds for us, we will destroy ourselves, which is awesome. So if I go back now, hit play, and when I can move, okay, fine. Whenever I press the space key, the bullet goes up, and after like 2 seconds, it just destroys itself. As you can see, now I can have as many bullets as I want, and they will just destroy themselves after some amount of time, which is awesome. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we'll make a system where we will spawn asteroid from the top. We'll randomly spawn asteroid from the top and make a system where we can blow up those asteroids. So with that said, again, thank you for watching. If you do like the content, consider subscribing. Hit the bell icon to never miss the latest video. Every new video comes out every Wednesday, and sometimes Sunday. So with that said, again, thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video, and have a great day. Bye bye.